we made it down to the Keys. It's really nice, and the one thing we really definitely want to do is take a bike ride. So if you can believe it, we got all 6 of our bikes right in there. Lojo, should we show them? Let's show them how we do our bikes. So,
of our bikes are in here. If
you can believe it, it's kind of messy in there right now, but we'll get all the bikes out. They're in there. We put them in these burlap sacks right here. And we got, how many bikes do we have?
6.
6 bikes. We got 1 for each kid except for this one. So we're gonna pull them out and we're gonna go for a ride, okay? Quite a bit of room that we set apart for these bikes, but they're definitely worth having. Last time we took them out, we were in the Grand Canyon. We took a bike ride in the Grand Canyon. But anyway, we keep getting these going. Now it's time to put together your trailer, right?
Yeah.
So we can go riding?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You wanna go?
Yeah.
Okay.
They go shopping.
We're gonna get some ice cream, I think.
Ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bite.
Oh, of course.
Some have one? And then let's hold it.
And then,
I'll hold it. It's
how
fine.
many did it have?
No, it's not that small.
Natalie, how is it?
Good.
Oh.
What happened yet?
It all came off. See?
While they finish up their ice cream, I'll show you this trailer again. So what I like about this trailer is that it serves a couple purposes. One is it takes Lojo for a ride, helps her get ice cream. And then I like to use it to like put laundry in, or I'll put like the LP tanks in these things and just haul them around. So it comes in pretty handy, and I like how it folds up so small. So this was definitely a good buy. You guys ready to go? Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Yes? Are you sure?
Yes. Hello.
All right, so we have these Solorock bikes, and we have 3 types of bikes. We have a Dash, we have a Swift, and we have a Pace 3.0. But they're all aluminum bikes, and the reason why I went with aluminum is because they're super lightweight. So for the kids especially, we didn't like them riding around these really, really heavy bikes because it's harder for them to pedal uphill. So we wanted to get a nice light bike that had gears. And these Solorocks, after I did a bunch of research, they came out to be really well recommended. And then once we got them, I was super impressed with the build on them. And the first thing I checked is this right here, the hookup between the handlebar and the bike itself. I wanted to see how stout, I guess, the connection was between the bike, because I had some folding bikes that this was the first thing that got really loose on them. So I was really impressed with this. They had this nice latch system that's even hard to get open. I once had a bike where we were riding it in Natalie, and the whole thing just kind of popped open. And so I really wanted to make sure that these bikes were not only lightweight, but that the connections here and here were really strong. This right here is a Swift. This is the cheaper version of the aluminum bike. I think this is the cheapest one they have, in a 16-inch wheel. It has 7 gears. Again, it's super light, but the difference between this and the Dash is the Dash will have better tires and it'll have a little bit better components like derailleurs and everything. But I would say if you have kids, the Swift will work really well for them. And if you're an adult and you want a super small bike, get the Dash because you can put up to 65 pounds of pressure in those tires and then it'll ride really well. So this is Nathan's bike here. It's a Pace 3.0. This is the smallest bike that we own. It's a 14-inch tire, so it looks quite a bit smaller than the 16 inches, but this one's only a 3-speed, so it comes from the factory. It's an adult bike and it comes with a large crank and 3 speeds. So if you're an adult and you're riding this, you get super fast, you get a good speed, and then you get super slow, kind of like where you're spinning a lot. So that's the 3 gears on this. Now in order to make this work for Nathan, I had to buy a new crank for this right here because the one that was on it, if I brought the seat down so far, the crank would actually come way up here and his legs would go really high up on the seat, and it was just too weird. So I had to get a new crank. And I brought it to a bike shop and they put the crank in, took out a couple rings of the chain for like 40 bucks or something like that. It was pretty inexpensive. What that did was turn this bike from an adult bike into one where Nathan can ride it pretty well. So on his seat as well, I had to cut off part of the bottom. You might be able to see that, because if it was down so low it would actually rub on the ground. So his we had to make some modifications to, but he'll still be able to use this for many years to come, and we still have the crank and everything, so when he gets a little bit older we can just swap that out and put it back the way it was. I will have a link to the things that I did for this bike below this video so you can get the exact same crank and that we did for this, so it'll fit. I did take quite a bit of research to find one that would work perfectly, so I'll make sure that you know what that one is. And then just bring it to your bike shop and they can hook that all up. Because his is quite a bit smaller, he gets to keep the rack on his, and it'll still fit in our basement on the camper. Everyone else we had to take their rack off because it wouldn't fit in the camper. So he's the one that gets to carry all this stuff when we go for a bike ride, right? Yeah, he likes it too.
No, I don't.
Yes, he does. Oh, and some bike accessories. We picked up these nice little flashlights that we put on there because when you get to Florida it gets dark at about what, 5, 6 o'clock, and so we still have quite a bit of time to ride around, but we just need to turn our flashlights on. So when we leave the bikes we usually just pack them all together and then put a cable around them and just lock them all together. Since we have 6 of them, it's not like somebody's gonna come and steal all 6. Well, maybe they would try, but I don't think they'd be able to.
The camera looks so fast.
Driving me crazy. Okay, anyway, so the reason why we bring the bikes is because we want to be able to bike in places like the Florida Keys. It'd be pretty awesome. So we're gonna head over to Long Key and I'm gonna show you this thing that we got for Nathan's bike so that Tina can take him for a ride. So this thing is called a Trail Gator. Trail Gator. It hooks on the back of Tina's bike right there, and then it hooks to the front of Nathan's bike right there. So what we have here is essentially it's a tag along without having the tag along. We used to have these 2 tag alongs that we would bring with us everywhere, and they were huge. And what I wanted was to have a system where we could tag him along, but he can have his own bike at the same time. So this is like the best of all worlds because he can ride his bike, and then wherever we go on a long trip, we hook him up with the Trail Gator, and then he doesn't have to pedal as hard. It has been a little while since we used this.
It's been a year, I guess.
Yep.
I don't have it.
You excited?
Yes.
Okay.
I would be kind of creeped out.
Because I've noticed. I'm not.
Just hooks in right in there. You pretty much got the whole set.
Good to go.
Oh, it is actually kind of creepy. So it'll be hard to pull me.
Okay.
Or you can just
Now
brake.
it has this thing right here, this little bar that goes down and snaps into his wheel.
How I used to do
It's hard to do that. So it keeps him from steering his wheel too much. It snaps in so it locks him in.
No 12-year-olds can drive.
It's about a 3-mile bike ride to Long Key. We're gonna spend a little bit of time on the beach.
Stay steady.
Ready to go?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
That's fine.
Right there.
Well, my sister Jen actually found it.
Okay.
No! You guys head back to the bike. No. Oh my goodness.
We're already at our next destination and I'm ready to pull the bikes out again. So we're gonna be here for probably about 2 weeks or so. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the bikes, get it all going once again, and that's, I guess, a wrap. So thanks much for watching this video. Let me know how you travel with the bikes. What are you thinking? Do you do mountain bikes? Do you do road bikes? Are you interested in possibly doing something like this? If you are, check out our blog post because I'm gonna put these exact bikes on our blog post so you can get access to them. They're great aluminum bikes. They work really well, and Lojo likes them too, right? Right. All right. So we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.